Okay. The main character, Johnny, and his friend Leroy are basically just like low-life, street, dope-peddling, street guys, and at the very low end of the totem pole. And they have this one client they're both really, impressed with. She's known as, they call her the Sphinx. Around dusk, Leroy shows up to hand off the pager. Oh yeah, back then, drug dealers would, you remember pagers? Those little fucking things? And, we'd always have it on vibrate because you don't want the thing beeping all the time. And what was really creepy was, even when, you didn't have it on you, like Leroy would take over for me or I'd take over for him, and he said the same thing. Like, even when you didn't have it on you, sometimes you'd feel it vibrating. And you go sort of reach for it absentmindedly and go, fuck, I don't have it on me. And like, you think, Jesus Christ, it's calling me from across town. It was, it really sort of substantiated my paranoia. That's probably what got me writing Burroughs, actually. Around dusk, Leroy shows up to hand off the pager. I'm getting ready for my preset appointment with our most enigmatic client, the woman we refer to as the Sphinx. I'm shaved, showered, and primped when he arrives. Look at Johnny, Leroy grins. If you're so hung up on this girl, why don't you ask her back here? You got a great apartment. It's not that easy, I say. She'd think I was nuts. Besides, you know how it is. It's like a doctor screwing one of his patients. It's unethical. Leroy lies on the couch and plays around with the pager, changes the battery. Yeah, and it could get expensive. That too. So what are you doing tonight? The man wants to go to a movie. I stop nodding my tie. Really? Just the two of you? Like on a date? Fuck you. Not like a date. He wants to see that new Van Damme flick, Cyborg. Figures. Thyroid freak like him must blow his load over Jean-Claude, the Belgian butt banger. I didn't know JC's Belgian. Sure, the whole country's full of pedophiles, pud pounders, and perverts. At least that's what Aunt Byron says. Don't let the man hear you talk that way about Van Damme. He thinks that guy's the cat's ass. More like he wants to grease that cat's ass. There is something slightly gay about the man. Slightly. Anybody who spends that much time in the gym and creaming himself about himself in the mirror, just get it over with and come the fuck out of the cupboard. All muscled up like that, he already looks like a bathhouse Betty. It's true, like those biker dudes, all the heavy leather and heavy attitude. You call them queer and they'll rip you to pieces, even though they all dress like bondage fags. Weird, huh? Christ, Leroy, don't you know bikers are the biggest closet homos around? What straight guy works that hard to prove he's some kind of ball-stomping macho Camacho? It's major doth protest type bullshit. Unbelievable, he laughs and then checks the time on his pager. You better go. Don't want to keep her waiting. I dash out and hurry to the peanut bar in a cab. I'm totally at a loss about this Sphinx. She never whines, wheedles, begs, cons, cajoles, or coys, never threatens or panics. She never asks for credit, never complains about counts or quality. She never seems under the influence. Or sick. The Sphinx always has exact change. Rumor has it she sleeps without heat all winter long. I have to wonder if she even uses this stuff. Perhaps this woman is the secret Saint Sphinx who roams the streets and squares to offer pity and solace to stupid, useless fucks who sold, stolen, and boarded everything they can, firebombed all their bridges, and have now lain down as somewhere to very publicly croak. The Sphinx rolls over the prone body, loaded mercy at the ready, gently kisses the abscess vein before sliding in salvation. Withered near-death eyelids open to the face that once emerged from a frozen sea with those translucent ice-colored eyes. Pick her up in trembling hands, face so flawless, so terrible to hold. Run with her to the temple, fingers turned blue and frostbitten, and lay that sapphire countenance on the altar before a single candle, where she will thaw out over countless aeons while entire civilizations rise and fall. Quickly withdrawn to the shadows, inspired to go out and raise vast slave armies, burn and slaughter hordes of lice-ridden peasants in her inviolable name. When we'd met, I was convinced the Sphinx had to be from some exotic land, perhaps Antarctican. Her porcelain features, aquiline nose, and perfect cheekbones, the unnatural serenity of a Cathar priestess. Expressions and reactions so fleeting as to have never been. But no, she's from a fishing village on the Gas Bay, about 15 hours away by bus. Still, I've got to believe some highborn Khazar had slipped over the side of a three-master off the coast of Bathurst NB to leave behind his seat and swim away into the night. Or an Icelandic water sprite got hot with some Cape Breton sailors before drowning them. Outside the peanut bar, I stopped to pull myself together. The place is actually called Les Bobards, which means the fools. Its nickname comes from the big bowls of peanuts everywhere. Patrons are encouraged to crack open the shells and throw them on the floor after eating the contents. The Sphinx waits patiently, all in black, of course, something sleek. I pause and watch her index finger gracefully rise to hook a strand of richly dyed coppery red hair. She senses my approach, ambiguous little curls at the corners of her immaculately painted lips. Her inhuman beauty makes me feel like that Mujik idiot at the Balmoral. I climb onto a bar stool and she leans toward me. While passing her cheek first to one side of my face and then the other, she slips money into my breast pocket. Nice to see you, she says quietly. Her fingers brush and I leave 4 especially generous packs in her hand. Imagine a story of 2 lovers, I say. Which lovers, she asks suspiciously. 2 lovers who are so radically perverse they get unimaginable kicks from briefly meeting once a day to barely touch hands, then go their separate ways. The Sphinx allows a soundless little laugh. Her lips part just enough to take a sip of tea. I've never seen her tongue. You're droll, Johnny. I grin and blush like a yokel, try to think of small talk so she won't go. So, how do you like the medicine lately? You always have something acceptable. I do? Don't you? Oh, well, sure. I misfire and curse my worthless yokel brain. But I'm in the middle of all this. It's difficult to judge the finer points. I've heard she has some man at home, a brooder no doubt, grave as a dozen widows, refuses to exist beyond their gloomy apartment, sends her out in the world to live his life. The Sphinx leaves some money on the bar, gets into her coat and picks up a black patent leather purse. Before leaving, her gloved hand touches my arm. I think you're doing all right, Johnny. I am? Yes, you are. Will you tell me when I'm not? I'll always be honest with you. I watch her go out in the early evening traffic and swear to myself, 0 clue about how to ever get anywhere with her. She's impregnable as a medieval fortress. You'd have to commandeer an endless snaking mob of Roman legions, Huns, Ostrogoths, drag out the siege engines and catapults and undermining timbers, broadswords rending limbs and maces crushing skulls. And if you are very lucky, that war will be endless. And that's that one. Thank you.